See, you got to get people to like you and trust you and build rapport with them, and only then can you get them to sell you their house.
Welcome to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association, providing benefits and services to real estate investors and rental property owners for over 48 years. With your host, Brian Hamrick from Hamrick Investment Group.
This episode is sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com. And RCB and Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com. Hello and welcome to episode 177. My guest today is a visionary, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and educator. Larry Goins has been investing in real estate for over 30 years, and he's previously served as the president of the Metrolina Real Estate Investors Association in Charlotte, North Carolina. He also travels throughout the United States, speaking and training students on buying HUD homes, virtual real estate day trading, seller financing, and his Filthy Rich system. In fact, he was on this show last year, episode 108, talking about his Filthy Rich system. He's also a noted author and hosts two excellent podcasts. One is called Brain Pick a Pro, and the other is called Brag, which is short for Be Rich and Generous. Larry, thanks so much for being back on the show today.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You have so many different things that you can talk about when it comes to real estate. What are we going to be talking about today?
Well, I think might be a good topic to talk about is real estate day trading. In fact, I wrote a book about it, but real estate day trading is buying houses the same day using the internet, and we've done it in 12 different states. And I think that would probably be a really good topic for today and help a lot of your listeners out because it's what we're doing. We do about 10 to 20 deals every month, and we do them right over the phone. So, I think that would be a good topic.
Let's go there. I've never heard of that idea, real estate day trading. So what can you tell us about it?
Well, basically, it's buying and selling houses the same day using the internet. As I mentioned, I've done it in 12 different states. We focus primarily on the Carolinas. I'm in Lake Wiley, South Carolina, and but we focus on about 7 or 8 different counties, and we market to make the phone ring. And I have setters that set up the seller leads for me, separate the suspects from the prospects, and then I get on the phone with them and I close them over the phone. And I'm on the phone walking around in my office all day long on the speakerphone. I make about 30 or 40 calls a day. And just to give you an idea, yesterday I got 6 houses under contract. One person owned a house and 2 lots that I purchased for $15,000, and it already has a tenant in it. And another one, I bought 2 houses for $22,000. Both of those are rental properties.
Let's analyze this step here. So you have some sort of marketing funnel that is getting people to call you, it sounds like. Who are you targeting? Who is going to be calling you?
Well, we do a lot of things to make the phone ring. We do a lot of direct mail. We probably mail out, well, I shouldn't say probably. We actually mail out 25,000 pieces a month of direct mail. And we're getting ready to bump that up to 37.5 to get ready to add another 12.5 to that. But our phone rings a couple hundred times a week, and we break that up into 4 weekly mailings where they go out on Friday and hit on Monday or Tuesday. So our phone rings a lot. I've got 3 people out here. I call them setters. They actually qualify the people. They get the people who don't want to have any postcards mailed to them get off our list. We do that, and then we also they separate the suspects from the prospects. We have about a 6-page one call close script they go through, and then if they pass through them, then they transfer the call to me either live or set up a task in our CRM for me to call them, and I call them back and close them over the phone.
And the people who are calling you that you're targeting with your direct mail, what qualifies them to be on your list? What specifically are you targeting?
Well, I've got a list that we purchased from a list provider, and it's people that are on multiple lists. For example, they may be non-owner occupied, they may be delinquent on their taxes, they may be a certain age, they maybe have code enforcement, maybe they have a lien or a judgment or something like that. So they're on basically multiple lists. So that way we have a better chance of getting someone that is interested, that may be interested in selling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that actually makes great sense. So you're cross-referencing different lists of potential homeowners or landowners or property owners who are in some sort of financial distress.
Right, absolutely. And some of them, maybe they're not in financial distress. Maybe it's a landlord that is getting up in age and they may be ready to sell at this point. A lot of our properties are landlord type properties. A lot of them are.
They call you, they talk to your team. Now, is this your team of employees, or are these students that you're working with?
Well, they're people who work right in my office, right? They work in my office and they're on the phone all day long, 9 to 5, and they're either answering the phone or they're calling back the people who left messages. And also the way we have our CRM system set up, if a person just calls, and even if they hang up after the first ring, it automatically goes into our CRM and creates a task to call them back. So we also call back the hang-ups.
That's great. So if you send out 25,000 pieces of direct mail, how many calls are coming in each day based on that?
We get probably a couple hundred calls a week.
Wow. So that's a lot to go through. And of those couple hundred calls, how many do you end up talking to?
I usually have about 60 or 70 people at any given time that I need to be calling back, that I'm working. And some of them are me calling them back the first time. Some of them are me calling them back the second or third time. Maybe I gave them an offer, well, let me talk to my wife. Let me think about it. Let me check some things and I'll call you back, or call me back next week. So that's a lot of it right there, is calling people back after I've already talked to them.
Take us through like a typical productive conversation that you would have with one of these prospects.
Sure. You mean initially up front or after I get on the phone with them?
Both really would be great.
Okay, sure. Well, initially, the guys out there, I don't do this because I only want to talk to the high-level people that have passed the test and really want to get an offer on their house. But the guys out there, they'll basically call the person back and say, my phone's ringing right now. Somebody want me to buy their house.
Let's listen in.
Yeah. So, but anyway, what they'll do is they'll call them back and they'll say, hey, I got your message that you called about a postcard you received. Yeah, I wanted to get a little bit of information and see how we might be able to help you. And then they'll go through and say, we've been buying houses and helping homeowners like yourself for over 30 years. We can make you an all-cash offer as is. You don't have to worry about fixing anything up, and we pay all the closing costs. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with the property. Tell me a little bit about the property. So they'll get the property, I call it the pedigree, right? The property details, how many beds, how many baths, the address, all that. And then they'll say something along the lines of, well, nobody knows more about your property than you do. So let's talk about the inside of the property. If you had to rate your property on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being perfect, what number would you give the inside of your property? And then they'll say, a 5. Well, tell us a little bit about, what does it need in the kitchen? Does it need cabinets? Does it need countertops? When's the last time the kitchen was remodeled? What about the paint? What about the carpet, the bathroom? How old is the HVAC system? Now let's talk about the outside. How old is the roof? How's the landscaping? We just go through all that stuff, right? And then they'll ask them, so what's going on in your life right now as you thinking about selling your house? Because everybody's got a reason that they're selling, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on right now that has you thinking about selling your house? And some people actually, maybe they have a lot. Maybe it's just a lot that they're trying to sell, right? So they've got a whole little script that they use. If somebody says, well, I've just got a building lot. There used to be a house on it, but the house got torn down. It's so old, and I just have a lot. So they'll go through this little thing, say, well, unfortunately, we're probably not going to be able to help you, because lots like that in an older established neighborhood that have a lot of older homes that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, nobody really wants to build a new house in a neighborhood like that. And unfortunately, it can take 2 or 3, sometimes 4 or 5 years to sell those lots. So most of the people we buy those lots from are typically people who are just tired of paying the taxes on them. And we could probably take it off your hands, but we're going to try to probably sell it for a couple thousand, but it might take us 2 or 3 years to do it. But if you want to go ahead and get rid of it, we could probably pay you $300 or $400, maybe $500 cash for it. But we would pay all the closing costs, and you would net $500 at the closing. Is that something you'd have an interest in? And we buy, like I think right now we have 3 lots that we just got under contract. 2 of them are side by side. We paid $600 a piece, $1,200, and another one we paid $600 just for the one lot. And all we're really going to do with that is turn around and sell or finance it for probably $10,000 and get $1,000 down and $250 or $350 a month. But yeah, and then some people will say, because one of the questions they ask is about the house. Well, have you thought about what you wanted for a quick cash sale? And they'll say something like, well, the tax value is X, right? Everybody thinks tax value is the value, right?
Yeah. What a common misconception, huh?
I know. In fact, I even had a guy yesterday. I said, well, tax value is just what you base. It's not the real value of your house. He said, no, on this paper, it says real property value. I said, well, what that means is it's real estate. That's what real property means. No, that's the real value. That's what they told me.
Because we should all let the government tell us what our property is worth.
Exactly. And tell us what the real value is. Right?
I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Green Property Management. Not only do they manage everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area, they also manage my entire portfolio. So I can tell you from personal experience that their unique flat fee management style is worth a closer look. If you feel that your property isn't operating to its fullest potential, then Green Property Management can help you take a holistic approach that will save you money, eliminate your headaches, and increase your net income. And if you're a property manager interested in applying Green Property Management's model, give them a call at 1-866-95-GREEN or visit them on the web at greenpropertymgt.com. Forget what the brokers say or the potential buyers. The tax assessor is going to tell you what it's worth.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they say tax value, they'll kind of laugh and say, well, a lot of people really think tax value is the actual value of your property. But really what we have to look at is what other properties have actually sold for. Of course, the county wants to keep your tax value as high as possible so they can collect as much taxes as they can from you, right? However, we have to really look and see what other properties have actually sold for, right? So, and that's something Larry will do with you when he gets on the phone. So then they set the appointment. It's not even really an appointment. They just set me a task. If I'm not on the phone, they will they'll transfer it to me. But if I am on the phone, they'll just set a task for me to call them. So then I call the person.
So Larry, let me stop you there for a sec. So before we get into your part, because I know that's probably where you figure out if you want to do it and then you close. I want to just talk about some of the things that your people are doing on those initial conversations, because it seems like they're very quickly establishing a track record. You've been doing this for 30 years, so there's credibility there. They're establishing confidence. Let's take a look and see if we can help you. They're establishing rapport with the person who called in and getting the story. And I think all those steps psychologically are very. I'm very glad you shared them with us, and they're very helpful because once the person talks to you, they're much more psychologically willing and able to negotiate with you.
Exactly. And that's true. See, you got to get people to like you and trust you and build rapport with them. And only then can you get them to sell you their house. You can't just, you can't just jump right in. Well, I shouldn't say that. The other day I answered the phone and the lady had a lot, and literally in less than 10 minutes, I had built rapport with her, price conditioned her, told her I could give her $500 for the lot, and she said yes in less than 10 minutes. And she had never talked to me before, right? So sometimes you can, but you really do build rapport with people first.
Absolutely. And you just used the term, you price conditioned her. What do you mean by that? You price conditioned her?
Well, based on what you're telling me about your house, I bought a few houses like yours. A little house like that, I can't really pay a whole lot for it, maybe the high 20s, the low 30s. In fact, the last house I bought, very similar to yours, I think we paid somewhere around $22,000 or $23,000. Is that something you think you might be able to work with?
So they
notice, before we move on, notice how I price conditioned at the high 20s, low 30s, and then I dropped it even further down to the low 20s.
How often do people say, wait a minute, well, you just said this and now you're saying that? How often do they push back on your price conditioning?
Well, I back it up with proof. In fact, all I really do is take a look and see what other similar houses have sold for. And there's always really nice houses that have sold for 80 or 90 and fixer-upper houses that have sold for 20 or 30, right? As an example. And so what I do is I say, look, really what's going to determine how much I can pay or how much you can sell your house to anybody is what other similar houses are selling for, right? Because if other houses are selling for, $100,000, you can't sell yours for $200,000, right? So, and the opposite is true. Well, if other houses are selling for $100,000, you don't want to take $30,000 or $40,000 for yours. So I said, let's pull up and take a look. And all I really do is go to Zillow and I pull up houses and I look at the lower ones and I say, well, here's one right here, 125 Oak Street. It looks like it sold for $22,000 on August the 16th. And let's see, did you say your house is a 3-bedroom? And I'll know it's a 2. No, it's a 2. Oh, well, this one here, it's a 3-bedroom. So yours is missing a bedroom. Okay. So I'll go through and price condition them and show them what other real houses are selling for. And I'll tell them in the conversation, I'll say, look, I'm not telling you anything at all that you can't pull up online and look for yourself. You can do this. I don't have any kind of back access membership login to anything. I'm not saying anything you can't look up yourself. And that takes down their defenses where they don't even want to look it up. Right?
Yeah, those are all excellent strategies. What happens then when they finally talk to you? What is your role?
My role, it's kind of funny. In our Podio system, we have junior hammers and hammer, right? Those guys are the junior hammer and I'm the hammer, okay?
Is that what it says on your business card?
No, it says Chief Flunky, I think, or something. I don't know.
If you are thinking of leaving your W-2 job and becoming a full-time real estate investor, one of the greatest costs you must consider is healthcare for you and your family. When I made this transition 5 years ago, I found the whole healthcare insurance process to be confusing and frustrating. That's why I'm glad I met Chad Creasy at RCB and Associates. Chad is a professional healthcare insurance agent who helps real estate investors and small business owners understand and choose their best healthcare options. And best of all, his services are covered by the insurance company and won't cost you a dime. If you are expecting a change in your healthcare insurance coverage for any reason, or losing employer coverage or transitioning into Medicare, then you owe it to yourself to contact Chad Creasy at rcbassociatesllc.com.
So yeah, I get them on the phone and I say, yeah, you spoke with Angel or Candace or Marty. I say, you spoke with them about your property and I just wanted to give you a quick call and see what, if anything, we might be able to help you with. I can't make any promises, but if there's any way I can help you, I'll be glad to. So I want to get them thinking in the role of selling me, right? I can't promise you I can help you, but if I can, I will. If not, maybe I can give you some suggestions that'll help you. So I understand you got a house at 125 Oak Street you're looking to sell. My notes here say it's this, needs a kitchen, needs a bath, roof's 10 years old, it's rented out for $400 a month. And then I just start talking about, well, let's pull up and see what some other houses are selling for so you get an idea, what you might be able to get for your house. And I just pull up and I just call out prices. I say, here is Main Street, 216 Main Street, sold for $13,000 in September. It was a brick house, though. Now, is yours a brick house? No, it's a wood frame. Oh, okay. Yours is a wood frame. This is a brick one. Let's see here. Here's another one at 350 Elm Street. It's very similar to yours, and it sold for $10,000 in October. October 12th is when it closed. And from the pictures, it doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape. What were you thinking you wanted to get out of your property for a quick cash sale? Right? And then I just go into that, and we start negotiating from there.
As the hammer, are you looking to close during that phone call, or do you typically have several conversations with this seller?
Well, I have bought many houses on one call close, and but a lot of them I have to talk to them 2 or 3 times. Like I may give them a price, we talk about it, and they say, well, give me a call back next week, or well, I'm going to try to sell it myself. If I can't sell it in a month, call me back. Stuff like that. So I do try to close them over the phone. In fact, I had a guy yesterday. I had to hard sell him yesterday, but I had already talked to him 3 or 4 times, and he's done with it. He's tired of it. He doesn't want to deal with it anymore. He already told me he needed the money to pay some taxes and to pay off his personal residence, and so I hard closed him. And
what does that look like when you hard close somebody? What does that mean?
I said, look, Bobby, you've already told me this is what you wanted. You told me you wanted to sell the property. You've told me that you're tired of dealing with the tenant. You're tired of dealing with all this stuff. You wanted to pay off your taxes. You wanted to get your house paid down. I said, it's the right thing to do. Let's go ahead and do this. What's your home address? Let me have a mobile notary come out this afternoon. I've got a simple, standard real estate offer to purchase that says I'm buying it for cash. I'm paying all the closing costs, and you don't have to pay anything. And let's get you that money in your pocket in the next 30 days. What's your home address? Well, Larry, I just don't know if I'm really ready or not. I'm just really not sure, Larry. Listen, Bobby, it's the right thing to do. Just give me 1% of your confidence. I'll earn the other 99. Now, what time will work best for you this afternoon? Is 2 o'clock okay, or would 4 o'clock be better?
Then it sounds like once you do close or sell, you send a notary and have the paperwork signed. Is it as simple as that?
We do. If I'm on the phone, let's say I'm on the phone, it's 11 o'clock right now while we're recording this, right? And I could have a mobile notary at any house, anywhere in the country within 2 hours, no matter where they are, right? So I tell the person, the house might be in North Carolina, but maybe they live in Dubuque, Iowa. I don't really care. I say, hey, I've got a mobile notary in your area. Let me have them drop by this afternoon. Is 2 o'clock okay, or would 4 be better? And I've got a simple, listen at the words, okay? I've got a simple, standard real estate offer to purchase. It's only 1 page. It says I'm buying your house for cash. I'm buying it as is, and I'm paying all the closing costs. Now, think about it. If somebody says, well, I want to have my attorney look this over, my standard response is, well, you know what? You can do that if you want to. I'm sure they're not going to do it for free, but realize that this is a simple 1-page standard real estate offer to purchase, and it says I'm buying your house for cash, and I'm paying all the closing costs. So quite frankly, I'm not sure why you'd want to spend the money on an attorney unless your attorney is going to tell you how much you need to sell your house for.
What are the typical terms then? In 1 page, does allow? I guess the real question is: are you then going to wholesale this to the end buyer, or are you actually purchasing these properties? And in either way, does the 1 page allow you to do inspections, set the terms and all that you would typically see in these types of contracts?
You know what? That's the beautiful thing about my contract. There's no inspection period. There's no due diligence. I've got it set up to where it says we'll close sometime in the next 60 days. I don't even have a closing date on my contract. It says I'm going to close sometime in the next 60 days, and then it says if I need additional time for any kind of due diligence or to transact the closing, I can get an automatic 30-day extension if I need to. So I've got 90 days to close. I do wholesale the vast majority of them, but some of them I might keep as rentals, or really not rentals, but lease option or seller financing type deals.
So if you do hang on to these, or if you're wholesaling them, do you ever send someone over to physically inspect the property?
Oh, absolutely. That's part of what we do. We don't do it until we get it under contract, though. Like we just got those 6 properties. One of them got rescheduled to sign today instead of yesterday, and so the ones that we do get back signed, then we schedule to have somebody go out and take pictures, and then we start marketing the property right away. And there's plenty of sources to do that. There are a lot of sources. You can use wegolook.com, wegolook.com. They'll go out and take pictures, but there's also another one out there called BPO, as in broker price opinion, photo, PHOTO, flow, FLOW.
Both will go take a look, take photos. It sounds like the BPO will also give you a price opinion.
Yes, that's part of what they do, but that's not really what we use them for. We just use them for pictures.
Once you get these under contract, then what happens next?
What happens next? Once we get it under contract, we go out and take pictures, and we start marketing the property. We put out signs. Our signs will say something like handyman special, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, worth $60, cash price $29,900. We always put the retail value, and then we put our cash price, and we put out about 30 of those for each house. We put them on 75 different Facebook groups. We put them on Craigslist. We put them on our website, and we email them out to our buyers list.
Are you putting out physical signs as well?
Yes, those are the bandit signs.
Okay, so you're putting out bandit signs. Are you putting them right in front of the house, or are these?
It depends. If it's a owner-occupied property, we don't put it out in front. If it's a rental property, we don't. But if it's vacant, yes, we can.
I'd imagine you also have a pipeline of investors who are looking to buy properties from you in this way.
Well, we do market the property on Facebook and 75 different Facebook groups. They're all local Facebook groups, like local real estate groups, buy-sell groups, marketplace groups, yard sale groups, all those. And so we do have a lot of leads come in. I mean, a tremendous amount. In fact, I look up on Facebook all the time, and we probably get an average of about 1 lead every 5 to 10 minutes on Facebook.
So for the end buyer, who you would be wholesaling it to, what do they have the opportunity to do? Can they go look at the property, get inside?
Sure, they can do that. Our goal, however, is to take enough pictures and take a video where they don't necessarily have to get into it, especially if it's owner-occupied or a rental property. If it's a rental property, they're buying it based on cash flow. And most of our properties are the lower-end properties, okay? So if it's owner-occupied, we will schedule one showing and have 5 or 10 serious pre-qualified cash buyers show up. And we always tell our buyers, look, we provide deal flow. We are professional negotiators, and we get properties under contract at deep discounts, and then we pass those savings along to people like you. However, having said that, you got to understand our properties go very fast. There's no time to get a loan. You need to be a cash buyer and be able to close next week. For example, one of the deals we closed yesterday was Monday. We just got it under contract to sell on Wednesday of last week. So from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we closed it in 3 business days.
What do you do if none of your buyers want to buy it? Do you ever have those properties that you just can't sell?
If we can't sell it for the price, right, that we need to, if we've got enough room, we'll lower the price, or I'll go back and renegotiate with my seller. I do renegotiate probably about 25% of the deals that we close.
Can you take us through just a typical deal? Tell, how much you would get it under contract for, how much you'd be able to sell it for, and the type of profit you would make.
Sure, I'd be glad to. What we have found is that the vast majority of our properties that sell very fast, they sell for $50,000 or less. And if we could keep it under $100,000, that really helps too. But $50,000 or less, we get a lot more buyers. We do buy a lot of houses for, 10, 15, 20,000 and sell them for 25, 35, 45,000. We do try to make $15,000 per deal, but we are averaging more than that. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, we had a house a couple months ago we bought for $2,000, and we could only get $5,000 out of it, right? But so we only made $3,000, but that's probably the lowest one we've done in a long time. The vast majority of them, we make $12,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, sometimes $30,000, $35,000 on a deal. But like the two that we closed Monday, one we bought for $50,000 and sold for $85,000. The other one we bought for $30,000 and sold for $45,000.
Nice. Do you ever lose money on these?
You only lose money if you close on it and can't sell it. So because our contracts are assignable and we only put up a $100 deposit, if we don't feel like we can get the deal closed and sell it, then we'll just tell the seller, look, unfortunately, we're just not going to be able to close on this. And they get the $100 deposit, which is okay, right? But I will tell you this. I mean, I've got a seller right now that I negotiated with to buy her rental property, which needs work. It's a big rental house, 24 or 2,500 square feet. Big rental house, 4 or 5 bedroom, older house. But she told me she would take $20,000 for it. So we got it under contract. About a week later, she calls me up and asked me if I would cancel the contract. And she even offered me $5,000 to cancel the contract because she found somebody that she had previously talked to that she thought was out of the picture, but they went and got their money and they were willing to pay her $30,000 for it. So she offered me $5,000, right, to walk away so she could make an extra $5,000. So I knew that she was going to try to weasel out of this, right? But I told her, I said, look, as far as I'm concerned, we've got an agreement. I'm a person of my word, and I'll stick to it. And I said, I plan to go ahead and proceed forward and close, And so she called me yesterday, and she said somebody broke in and stole all the wiring out of the house. Mm-hmm. So I think she was saying, I think she was thinking I would just say, oh, okay, well, I guess we can't buy it anymore. But that's not true. I got a guy over there this morning. He was there at 8 o'clock this morning, walking through the house, walking under the house, and there's no wiring been stolen.
She thought she could scare you off.
Yeah. Well, I told her yesterday on the phone, I said, did you file a police report? Call the police? She said, no. I said, well, that's the first thing you need to do. And I said, I'll have my guy come by and take a look at it tomorrow. I said, but as far as I'm concerned, we're going to go ahead and proceed with the closing until I see if there's, if it's too much work to be done, but there's no wiring been stolen.
I guess anytime you're dealing with sellers and people, you're dealing with human emotions and things like that. Do you run into those types of circumstances often?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like we've got a lady that we're closing with on Friday. We're buying her house for $25,000, right? We're buying her house for $25,000, and it's a real old house. It's got a tin roof on it. She lives there by herself. She doesn't have a car, and but she owns it free and clear, right? So and she needed moving money, so we gave her, instead of giving a $100 deposit to our attorney, we gave her a $1,000 deposit, and we gave it directly to her to give her some moving money. The house that I told you I closed on Monday, we bought for $50,000 and sold for $85,000. I gave that seller $2,000 in moving money because she wanted to get first month's rent and deposit and hire a moving company. And she said she needed $2,000, so I gave her $2,000 up front, right? So sometimes you run into people like that, and that need money, and we're able to help them through the whole process to get some money so they can get to their next place.
Now, you wrote a book on this as well, right?
Yeah, I did. It's called Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading, How to Buy and Sell Houses the Same Day Using the Internet. It is available wherever books are sold. In fact, I just updated it. I've got a brand new revised edition with all the different technology that we're using to put together systems and processes and procedures. And I think we're going to give away a copy to your listeners today, right?
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I think people would appreciate that. Awesome.
Well, I don't have a website readily available to give away a free copy, but if they'll call 877-LARRY-GO, 877, it's toll free, Larry Go, and speak to Zenobia. She'll answer the phone, and she does our accounting and marketing for our properties. And if they'll give her their information, we'll get them a copy of the Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading book with bonuses with some of our forms and documents and scripts and stuff like that, as well as I've got a whole investor's kit that we'll give them, which is not only that book, but a copy of my HUD Homes Half Off book, How to Buy HUD Houses for Pennies on the Dollar, as well as some other video training as well. And that's 877-LARRY-GO.
Now, you offer training as well in this?
We do. We have a training organization. In fact, as you well know, I used to travel around and speak at different organizations and groups and stuff like that. I don't do as much of that anymore because I like being in the office. I like staying home. And I've got a 22-year-old daughter and two small grandchildren, and I've got a 14-year-old son still at home. So I would rather stay home right now, and I enjoy it. So I don't really travel as much anymore, but we do have like a coaching and a mentoring program. People come here and spend 3 days with us and learn what we do. And we also have 3-day training events at a local hotel in Charlotte. We used to do them all over the country, but we just decided we weren't going to travel anymore. People can come to our town. And so, yeah, we do coaching and mentoring and have courses and books and stuff like that.
Well, Larry, how would people find out more about your training opportunities or get a hold of you if they wanted to?
Sure. The best way to do that is go to Larry Goins, GOINS.com, and there they'll find information about our training. They'll find our podcast. We have a podcast every week called Brag, and that stands for Be Rich and Generous. We teach people how to invest in real estate and encourage them to go out and be generous and help others. We also have another one called Brain Pick a Pro, where I interview other people in the trenches doing real estate, because I'm a firm believer a good idea doesn't care where it comes from. So I think those are some good places they could start. But if they'll call Zenobia, she will get your information and make sure you get a copy of Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading and get you in our system. Then we'll send you out a weekly email about our podcast.
Fantastic. Well, Larry, I want to thank you for telling us all about real estate day trading. It's a really interesting topic, and I'm glad you shared it with us. And I really appreciate you taking us through how you and your team work the phones to talk with actual prospective sellers in order to build that rapport and make them comfortable and confident that you're the person they want to sell their property to. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Hey, it's no problem. I really, really appreciate you having me on. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope your listeners got a lot out of it. And make sure and go grab a free copy of that book while it lasts.
I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode. I'm your host, Brian Hamrick from Hamrick Investment Group, and you can find out more about me by going to higinvestor.com. That's higinvestor.com. And you can also ask questions and join us on Facebook by going to RPOA, Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast. This episode was sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com. And RCB and Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com.
You've been listening to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association. You can find out more at rpoaonline.org. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review.